Oh, look, a new Laymen episode has come out on my Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus phone. Oh, I'm so excited to watch it on my Samsung phone. Here we go.
Stop! You've broken the law.
What have I done?
You're watching YouTube on that new device, the Samsung 10. You're not allowed to do that, only on the Samsung 9 and below.
What do you mean? That's ridiculous. It's a video. I can watch it wherever I like.
No, I'm telling you, we own that content, and we don't want you watching it on the new Samsung, okay? Only on the older Samsungs, where we've given permission and we get money off it, okay?
Okay, I guess I'll just go watch Yong Yeah?
Should I shoot him?
Alright, GeForce Now.
Oh,
Final Fantasy VII Remake just downloaded. That was that sound if you heard it. We're excited.
Very excited. Okay.
Guys, GeForce Now, up to this point, we've been like, look, we like it. It's pretty cool. We're glad that it exists. But now, we're firmly in the GeForce Now corner, baby.
Yeah.
This is like a David and Goliath battle with Nvidia,
whatever. We used to love Stadia, of course.
We were big Stadia fans.
But now we've broken up with Stadia.
That's
it's
right.
all about GeForce Now.
What the fuck are you doing? Who the hell are you?
Correct. And because the reason for that is because it really is positioning itself as the most sort of consumer-friendly means of streaming content. And publishers don't like that, and indie devs, it turns out, don't like that. There's one indie dev in particular who has pulled his game from GeForce Now very publicly, and some of the reasons that he's provided really suck. So anyway, let's talk about why GeForce Now is literally under attack, and why I think we kind of need to help sort of like defend it.
And the pull-out game is strong.
Right, nice.
Sure.
Good joke.
Okay, so GeForce Now, everybody knows, well actually I didn't really know this, it's been in beta for years, but everyone knows now it is here and it is actually doing extremely well.
It is.
It was in free beta, by the way, for a number of years.
Yeah, and
compared to Stadia, which has been a beta and you're paying for it.
Beta. That's right. No, but I mean, it's a huge difference right there. They literally spent many years testing this product to make sure it worked 100% for free, versus Stadia is literally charging you right now for a public beta and beta, and they're also making you buy the games on top of that. So anyway, that's part one of why GeForce is like doing it right.
But I think the big problem that it first found itself in was games that started to pull themselves from their shelves. Number one was Capcom and Square Enix. Before it even launched officially, they already pulled their games from GeForce Now.
They did. And then obviously we had the launch of the product itself. Very successful launch. It already has achieved about 1 million subscribers on the platform. They've got about 1,500 games in their library. It's got fantastic feedback from people. Everyone has really who has come to this product walks away from it thinking, yeah, good job, guys. And the reason for that, of course, just to be super clear, is with GeForce Now, you don't need to buy your games again. You already have an existing Steam library that you're working with, and then what GeForce Now does is provision a PC in the cloud that you can basically access. You can install your Steam games onto this sort of like cloud-hosted PC, and you can play them from there. There is no need to buy your games twice when it comes to GeForce Now.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, it's ultimately a virtual console, and of course, our most beloved publishers are loving it. Like Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard. They pulled their games, everybody.
Correct.
This was after it came out. They've officially now pulled their games, and I honestly thought it was just going to be the big devs because they might have their own streaming ideas or big deals with Stadia or whatever. I never thought in my wildest dream that an indie dev that's just trying to catch a break and get people to play their games is also going to take their games off.
I really, because I sort of view this quite cynically, right? In the sense that, like, companies are dirtbags, you know, like Activision Blizzard is not exactly like good guy Activision Blizzard. Of course they're going to do the scummy thing, and they're going to pull it from their platform so they can strike up some other deal. Like, they have the right to do it, absolutely. Like, the right to do it in the sense that they control it, they can, whatever. Shareholders going to shareholder, I wish they didn't, but I kind of expected that from them because that's what you expect from shareholder dirtbag companies, okay?
Not all companies are bad. YouTube, for instance, we love you, YouTube.
YouTube, please don't do me on
Exactly.
But I really thought it would stop with those large publishers. Turns out that indie devs, or at least one indie dev so far, is sort of taking the same approach. And they don't like the fact that GeForce Now lets people play their game in the cloud for various reasons, I suppose.
Kind of, yeah.
The developer Raphael von Leerup, I probably mispronounced that. I apologize for the mispronunciation. He said on a very public tweet, he said, "Sorry to those of you who are disappointed you can no longer play The Long Dark on GeForce Now." Long Dark, by the way, it's a survival game set in Canada, I think, like a plane crash.
Yep.
It's one of those sort of things.
That sounds like a porno, but anyway.
What the hell kind of porn are you watching?
The Long Dark? Come on.
Okay, now I'm
it
with
does.
You. Now I'm with you. He says Nvidia didn't ask for permission to put the game on the platform, so we asked them to remove it. Please take your complaints to them, not us. Devs should control where the game exists. There's really nothing newsworthy or shocking about our decision. The shocking part is people's reaction to it. Nvidia admitted they were making a mistake by releasing without our permission, apologized, asked us if we'd like to stay on the platform, and we said not at the moment. Today's world is getting more complex for devs with lots of platform changes and shifts to streaming, so devs have to be able to plan a strategy for how their games will appear and where as a means of running a business. All the platforms acknowledge this.
And of course, you know, he has been completely roasted now on Twitter because a lot of people, A, were already playing it potentially in GeForce Now, maybe even love the game, or just were like, whoa, what the hell, man? I've already paid for this game.
Yeah.
Why are you taking it off here? So he's getting completely roasted, and the backlash is real. It's like Reddit real.
Yeah, I mean, look, there is a lot of discussion around this because I think it really is emblematic of an important struggle when it comes to your owned content and how you're able to access that. A lot of the replies are pointing out the fact that I have already bought your game on Steam. You have made a sale from me, okay? You have got my money. And at this point, I would like to be able to play it on a cloud-hosted PC. What's the fucking problem with that?
Yeah.
Like, what is the problem? Do I need your permission to use an AMD graphics card? Do I need your permission to use an Alienware laptop as opposed to a Razer? Do I need your permission to whatever? Like, all these examples that people were providing.
Yeah, or better still, do I need your permission to go to an internet cafe and play this on a separate a desktop that is not mine?
And this is actually something that he raised, that he responded to. He actually does point out that Steam does have an internet cafe end-user license agreement provision within their, end-user license agreement. That's a thing that's there, absolutely. So that is something to keep in mind. This is not a case of the law is absolutely on this guy's side. There's no question about that. He has the absolute legal right to do this. GeForce Now is a distribution platform of sorts because of the fact that you are taking a game and you are making it available to people at scale. Okay, that unquestionably the law is on this guy's side. There's no doubt about that, right?
Sure.
And that's why Nvidia are not pushing back against this. They are absolutely saying you have the right to decide where your content exists. If you want to take it off, that's totally fine. The law is on their side, full stop.
Yeah, it's like saying, well, the law is on EA's side in terms of loot boxes, man.
That's exactly what it's like.
But it ultimately is,
like
the law might be on your side, but is it a pro-consumer choice? No. And is it also going to build your brand up? No. Look, if you're a small dev and you want people to be playing that game, if they've already paid for it, I understand that you want to try and control that content, but only to a certain point. Control the content to a point where they had to pay for it, fine. Then what they do with it after shouldn't be your concern, in my opinion.
Totally. And this is actually, and ultimately this comes down to money, right? Let's be real. So this developer's tweets and stuff have very much been like, oh, we need to control our content. Oh, if they just asked us, maybe would have said yes. Like real butter wouldn't melt in your mouth kind of stuff. Like about, there's this one tweet though that he responded to, and it really, I think, just sort of explains why this has happened. Someone writes, I expect we'll see much more of this. Play Your Steam Library Anywhere services are amazing for the consumer. They're potentially terrible for devs. It kills the ability to commercialize ports for new platforms, particularly mobile, or to negotiate exclusive deals. The developer response to this, exactly. So that's it. Yeah, that's the reason why. They want to be able to sell your game twice, or they want to be able to get an exclusive deal with these streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And just to be super clear, developers love the idea of a successful Stadia. Because Stadia, you need to buy the game twice.
Yeah.
They would love for Stadia to be successful because you buy your game on your local hardware and then you buy it again on Stadia so you could play it wherever you like. That's the dream for them. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. And I think, I understand and I am sympathetic to the idea that a small indie dev, every sale counts and they want to make sure that they can still keep their doors open.
Totally
and if there's certain deals that can come their way that can keep the doors open so they can continue to make more content.
Totally
I get that. But once you've made that sale, like, you know, this is getting into EA territory.
Yeah, look, and I think one really good example of this, because he's obviously, in this specific quote, he's mentioned ports. And obviously the thought is like, hey, well, I can release it on PC, and then I can release a Switch port so people can play it on the go, and then maybe I can also release a cloud port so people can play it on whatever device they like, okay? And people have to buy it 2-3 times, whatever. A really good example of this is Alienware's little sort of Switch PC, okay?
Which may or may not be coming.
Which may or may not be coming, okay? But it's a PC that's portable, you carry it around with yourself. Would this developer have a problem with this game appearing on this Alienware hardware? It's mobile, so people can play it wherever they like. It's similar to the Switch, so it cuts into his Switch port sales. It cuts into his like mobile potential because like it's a mobile platform. It cuts into his Switch sales because it's so similar to the Switch. Would he have a problem with this? I suspect he wouldn't have a problem with this. But for some reason, he has a problem with GeForce Now.
And especially, look, this is already built into the Steam marketplace, this whole, you know, Alienware Switch thing. And this is exactly with the GeForce Now thing. So it's not really making sense in terms of why he's really going down the route of, I mean...
It's making total sense. It's making total sense.
No, I actually...
it takes total sense. It just wants to be able to get paid from another side of the game, or have it, or basically get a deal with a streaming platform.
The only way that this makes sense to me is if he has some sort of deal in the works with Stadia or something that he can go, yes, cool, we are going to be making some money off this because people are going to buy this again.
Yep.
If he does not have that in the works, then he is not making extra money off this anyway. And if anything, he's just going to be pushing people away. But you're right, it is coming down to the bottom dollar. They do want to make a lot more money. So maybe he's just like clearing the deck for that, for maybe some potential.
Look, again, I've said it many times. I am really a big fan of supporting indie devs. I'm a really big fan of cloud, and a lot of people hate when I say this. I'm a fan of cloud streaming technology. I like Project xCloud, for example.
I think it's exciting.
I think it's exciting because, again, like, I don't need to buy the game twice. Stadia is garbage because I need to buy my game twice. Why would I do that? That's ridiculous. No, right? And so, like, I would love for good, fair models for the cloud streaming revolution. I'd love for good business models to emerge, and I think Nvidia GeForce Now is one of the fairest, best models we've seen to this point.
Definitely.
And I think if you're going to take your game off that, you need a really good reason to do it, other than just like, I don't know, I want to be able to port my game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The
Like,
EA reason. No, look, I really think that, you know, this is a great opportunity to unify streaming platforms. And look, we are going to see more pushback, I think, from other publishers and games in general that aren't going to get as much money as they'd like out of the deal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if we don't go down this route, it's going to be like 8 or 10 different streaming platforms that you got to pay $5.99 a month for. I mean, that's going to be the situation.
The developer actually responded to that. This is what he said, because someone actually said exactly that, right? Someone said, I realize being a dev is tough right now, especially with changes like cloud gaming. As a consumer, it's been confusing for us too. We're just afraid we'll have to use a service we don't want to, or it'll be so fragmented. We'll have to use 10 streaming services to play our games. And the developer's like, I don't want that either. Not as a dev and not as a consumer. We want our consumers to have a great experience, and we just want platform providers to ask our permission first. I mean, which one is it, man? Like, you want the permission, you want the licensing, you want the port, like...
Yeah.
What is it, man? Like, that was super disingenuous. That was the one I was like, come on, man.
He's definitely hiding behind that. They didn't ask us first, so we're just going to take it off. Like, come on, mate. It's so dumb. But anyway, look, that's pretty much it. I just think the only, the final hope may be cloud, the Project xCloud, okay? I mean, I feel like that's going to be a really good offering.
I feel like that plus Nvidia plus also PlayStation Now. Like, that's another thing where you buy a game on PlayStation, you can then play it anywhere. These are good models that are fair.
And EA streaming. I have faith in that too, guys. That's going to be fun. That's not going to be Stadia. They're not going to charge you the game plus $5.99 a month. Of course not.
All right, guys, we're going to go play Final Fantasy VII now.
Goodbye.